what if I told you that the face you see in the mirror and isn't you? That the voice inside your head, the one that never sleeps, is not a product of your brain, but something far more terrifying. For centuries we've lived under an illusion that we are our bodies, that consciousness emerges from matter, that when the brain dies, you disappear. But 400 years ago, one man shattered that illusion, René Descartes, the man who whispered a phrase that would echo across history, "I think, therefore I am." It wasn't a slogan, it was a bomb, because what Descartes really uncovered is a truth so disturbing, so identity-shattering, that most people still aren't ready to face it. You are not your body. You are a mind, a soul, a thinking essence, temporarily trapped in flesh. And once you understand that, truly understand it, the world you thought was real, it begins to fall apart. Because if your mind is not physical, if your consciousness is not located in your brain, then who or what is living your life right now? And what happens when the machine you're piloting finally breaks? Welcome to The Still Observer, the channel where illusions collapse and your soul remembers what it forgot. Subscribe now, because this is a journey inward, and there's no turning back. Cogito, ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. We've all heard the phrase. It's printed in textbooks, quoted in lectures, thrown around like a harmless philosophical soundbite. But it isn't harmless. It's dangerous. It's radioactive. That short Latin sentence is a scalpel, and René Descartes used it to cut your soul out of your skin. He didn't write a theory. He launched an attack, not against religion, not against society, but against reality itself. Descartes wasn't interested in what we believe. He was interested in what survives when every belief is stripped away, when the foundations crack and the lights go out. What remains when you no longer trust your eyes, your skin, your memories, or the very ground beneath your feet. He called it radical doubt, the process of unmaking everything you've ever taken for granted. Can you trust your eyes? No. They show you mirages. They distort distances. They lie. Can you trust your senses? Not for a second. Dreams feel real. Hallucinations can break a man. The mad see things with the same clarity as the sane. Can you trust your body? Absolutely not. You can lose an arm, a leg, your sight, and still be you. The body changes, the self doesn't. Something deeper remains. Descartes tore it all down, and in the ruins of certainty, he found one flicker of truth. The thought, your ability to think, to doubt, to question, even if everything you know is false, even if you're a brain in a vat, suspended in a false reality crafted by a malicious force. Your awareness of the lie proves you exist. You must be there to be deceived. That's the only thing that survives the collapse, the thinker. You are real, but everything else may not be. And from this terrifying certainty, Descartes built something even more dangerous. Dualism. Two substances, two realities, two incompatible worlds. The first is res extensa, extended substance matter, things that occupy space, your arms, your spine, the cup in your hand, the planet beneath your feet. The second is res cogitans, thinking substance, mind. It has no shape, no weight, no location. It doesn't bleed, it doesn't rot, it doesn't obey the laws of gravity or decay. You are not the body you see in the mirror, not the one you decorate, pierce, punish, or praise. You are not your skin, not your brain, not even your heartbeat. You're a ghost, a whisper of thought inside a machine made of bone and blood. The body is your interface, but it isn't you. It's the suit you wear to walk the stage of this world. When the suit breaks, the actor vanishes and/or escapes. A corpse still has a brain. A cadaver still holds every organ. But you, the one reading this, feeling this, silently witnessing this, are gone. So, where did you go? And what exactly were you if you could vanish so completely? Descartes leaves us with a chilling suggestion. Maybe you were never here in the first place. Maybe your consciousness isn't in space at all. Maybe it peers through matter like a diver through a helmet, seeing without being seen. You've mistaken the puppet for the puppeteer. You've mistaken the nerves for the self. You've mistaken the body for the being, and you've lived your entire life under that lie. This isn't feel-good spirituality. It's a philosophical demolition. Dualism doesn't offer peace. It offers a kind of metaphysical horror. What are you if not your pain? What are you if not your voice? What are you if not your desires, your memories, your touch? Descartes answers, you are the witness behind all of it. You are the formless watcher, the thought that cannot be touched or torn or measured. But he didn't stop there, he went darker. He imagined something philosophers still whisper about, the evil demon, a being of unimaginable power, not divine but diabolical. Its sole purpose, deception. It creates sensations, forges memories, mimics logic, and fabricates an entire universe around you, and you'd never know. You could spend your whole life under its spell, eating illusions, kissing shadows, and calling it reality. Would you know if this was happening to you? You wouldn't. That's the horror. And yet, even in that nightmare, your existence still holds, because you can think. Even if everything is fake, your doubt confirms a thinker, a self, a soul. So, who are you? If your mind can't be measured, if your body isn't you, if your senses lie, what's left? Maybe you are not a person, but a flicker of the mind, a ripple of awareness in a void, an entity not anchored to flesh or form. And if you are real, but everything else might be an illusion, what kind of prison have you been born into? The implications are earth-shattering. If your mind is not made of matter, then consciousness isn't produced by the brain, it's filtered through it. If your identity exists outside the body, then no medical scan can reveal your truth. If your soul is real, then death isn't the end. It's the great unveiling. But this vision doesn't offer safety. It leaves you stranded, unmoored, suspicious of every moment. You walk through the world knowing you might not belong to it. You speak from a tongue that may not be your own. You search for meaning inside a simulation. And in the silence, Descartes' question lingers like a whisper you can't shake. If you are not your body, then what are you? Absolutely. Here is a cinematic and immersive continuation of part 2, building on the intensity and philosophical depth you've established, preserving the tone of mystery, existential awe, and metaphysical terror. The idea that you were never fully here is not a poetic metaphor, it's a metaphysical rupture. It means that life as you know it might be happening on borrowed ground, through a body that isn't yours, in a world that isn't real, chasing goals that don't belong to the one who's truly watching. And if that's true, then every step you've ever taken might have been a dream walk through someone else's simulation. You've been eating food, making love, screaming, crying, laughing, all while asleep inside a costume of flesh. You've been mistaking your reflection for your identity. You were taught to think your was built from bloodlines, nationalities, jobs, and family stories. But Descartes is trying to shake you awake. He's standing in the ruins of certainty, shouting through centuries of noise, you are not your body. You are not your programming. You are not this passing world. You are something ancient, unseeable, undetectable, but undeniable. And that changes everything, because if your mind is truly separate, then what you call death is a false ending. The body dies, the machine breaks, the interface powers down. But you were never the machine, you were the operator behind the glass. And the operator doesn't die when the screen goes black. That's not death, that's awakening. And it terrifies us, doesn't it? Because it means this life might not be about surviving. It might be about remembering. It means your suffering wasn't punishment. It was a distraction. Your job, your house, your status, your daily worries, they were background noise in the waiting room of awakening. And every time you felt lost, dissociated, like a stranger in your own life, Those weren't malfunctions. They were signals, flashes of truth, your soul banging against the inside of its cage, trying to remind you, you are not this, you are more. But this truth doesn't offer safety, it doesn't soothe, it shakes the walls. Because if you are more than the body, then nothing about the world's values makes sense anymore. Success doesn't matter. Beauty doesn't matter. Approval doesn't matter. What matters is awakening. And awakening, as Descartes saw, requires destruction. You must tear down the lie that says, I am this body. You must strip away every identity the world handed you. You must abandon every anchor that holds your mind to the flesh. And when all the illusions fall, you are left with one final mystery. If I were never here, where have I always been? That is the unspeakable question, the sacred terror, the unbearable truth. You are a presence moving through a dream, a formless witness riding a dying animal, a flicker of something eternal, cloaked in dust and skin. And now the body ages, it wrinkles, it aches, it prepares to end. But not you. You're the flame, not the candle. You're the wind, not the leaf. And once the body falls away, you will remember what it was like to be unbound, unformed, free. Until then, every pain, every mirror, every silence is whispering the same question. Who were you before the body was born? And who will you be when it is gone?